We are just wrapping up summer break. And for the entire summer, I took all 5 of my kids with me to work at the dental practice. Why? Sometimes I ask myself that same question. And some days it makes perfect sense. And then sometimes I am seriously questioning all of my life choices. But how do I make it work? This is something that I can explain. So first, we have the space. Our dental office, we have our sterilization and our operatories and waiting room, everything's upstairs. And then you go downstairs and we have our lab and our team break room / like conference room. We have a bathroom, we have lockers and things for our team. And then we have what we like to call the Bishop Wing. And it's a playroom with my office conveniently right across the hallway. And this puts me in the perfect location to be interrupted 90 times and break up 75 fights before lunch. Something else I like to do, I bring in what I call like mother's helpers. Basically, they're babysitters, but I'm still there. These are young preteens who help keep the kids entertained, come up with new games, take them outside, and generally keep the chaos under control while I am able to get some work done, but I'm still there to help with the kids if they have issues or, help kind of diffuse situations and whatnot. We also have a park right outside the back door of the dental office. It's so close to the dental office that some people actually think that it belongs to the dental office, which is a huge win, definitely in the summer. I have snacks and toy rotation routines, and then this is all taken a lot of training. It definitely didn't happen overnight. This isn't our first summer of doing it. They've been coming to work with me for the last few years off and on. And at first, I could maybe work for 10 to 15 minutes at a time before somebody needed me. Now they can go all morning without interrupting me. And I also work around our summer schedule. A few mornings a week, I go in super early in the morning, crank out as much work as I can so that we can get out of there and do something fun, like head to the pool in the afternoon. Now, for reference, my oldest is 9, and then my youngest 2 are twins. They're 4 years old. And no, they don't just sit in front of the TV or have screens all day. We do have screens implemented into our routine. And so kind of depending on the day, they might watch a movie after lunch, but the other 6 to 7 hours they're spent playing, doing schoolwork, going outside, making giant messes, of course. And if they're naughty, then they have to help shred paper at the office. So my role is mostly administrative right now, but occasionally I do get pulled upstairs to help with a patient. And when this happens, my kids know the protocol and they know what's expected of them. We've been in the thick of this season for a few years now, and I'm finally just starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always pretty. It's definitely not quiet. It's very loud, but somehow we make it work. Now, in the beginning, I know I joked about not really knowing why I do this, but I do want to backtrack a little bit and talk about my why. When my husband and I first dreamed of owning a dental practice while he was in dental school, our plan was to buy a practice when our youngest was in kindergarten. And instead, we actually bought a practice before our oldest was even in kindergarten. And actually 2 weeks after buying the dental practice, we found out that we were pregnant with twins, babies 4 and 5. So it was kind of a whirlwind of a process and a situation, and wasn't at all what we had expected and what we had planned for. Now, my involvement in the practice has kind of ebbed and flowed based on the needs of the practice and also the needs of our family. So I've had various setups when it came to working and childcare. When we first moved to town, we just had our 2 kids, and I did traditional daycare for about a month and a half, because how the office was set up was my husband was the associate doctor and he only saw new patients, and they had designated like hygienists, like the original doctor had his hygienist, and then they were looking to try to hire a hygienist for my husband to see. So he was kind of like seeing hygiene patients while trying to like build his clinical skills, and it wasn't working great. And so I, as a hygienist, I went to work for him full time for about 6 weeks because they did hire a hygienist, but she was still waiting for her license. And so we did traditional daycare, but we only had 2 kids. And in our small town, daycare is really hard to come by, let alone for 5 kids, right? So that's not something that we've done with our 5 kids, but I have done part-time nannies, full-time nannies. I have stayed at home almost exclusively full time and worked from home. And then recently, probably about a year and a half ago, I started taking my kids to work with me almost consistently full time. So this is when we really started implementing these things. It became a really big deal for us. We had an unfinished basement, and so we designed the basement to meet our family's needs. And these mother's helpers, I should say, my older sister, she homeschools her kids. So she's the one that actually gave me this idea to reach out to families that homeschool because our kids have a lot more flexibility. And so that's how I find my mother's helpers. During the summer is a lot easier. There's a lot of kids that are looking to, make some money. And so it's a lot easier during the summer. But during the school year, I utilize like preteens who are homeschooled. And then I think also, like, just the beauty of it is being my own boss, just having that flexibility to work at home if I need to. I can remote into my computer from home. I have 2 monitors that I can work from, and I actually don't even have like a home office that I work from because I'm working outside with my kids. I'm working in the family room while they're watching a movie, or we're upstairs while they're playing Legos, or we have a swimming pool. Maybe I'm lifeguarding while I'm working on my computer. So I'm just always on the go. We also have Wi-Fi in our car, and so sometimes I take them to the park and I'm working on my laptop. Something that I've learned really early on in this process is also to give yourself grace. When it comes to balancing work and family and life, I don't know if like balancing is the right word for it. At least for me, I've never been able to find that balance. I think flexibility, or I don't know what a better word for it would be, but I just feel like sometimes there's things at work that are going on that might need more of my time. Sometimes at home, there's something that needs more of my time. Or maybe I have like personal needs that are taking up more of my time. And I think just being understanding of what phase of life we're in and giving myself grace and not being too hard on myself or taking myself too seriously. So if you're listening to this and you're like, ew, she works at the pool, like, maybe that's not for you. That's okay. But for me, I feel like I kind of just want to do it all. I love working in the dental office. I love kind of having that career and that contribution, but I also love being a stay-at-home mom. And so this is how I've been able to make it work to kind of have the best of both worlds. And I joked about sometimes that I am questioning my life choices, and that's true. Like with this comes a lot of stress. Sometimes I'm like, man, I should just quit and just be a stay-at-home mom, and things would look so differently. Like my house would always be clean. We'd have meals. I don't know. That's not true. But that's what I tell myself. Or I'm like, oh, maybe I just need to put the kids in daycare and I can just like focus on work and I can get my stuff done and I'll just be so much less stressed. But the reality is that I'm actually really happy with this kind of like chaos that I've created for myself, and it works for us right now. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that life is all about phases, and what works well right now might not work well in 6 months. What worked well last year isn't working well this year. And I think it just is really important to have a flexible mindset and be able to tweak things as they come. And I am a true believer that your life is in your hands and in your control. And if there's something that isn't working for you, then it's time to get to the drawing board and figure out what you're going to change and how you're going to change it. And so this is how we survive summer. That being said, school started today. So happy. We had a great summer with so many adventures, and it was awesome. And it was a little bit stressful, and that's okay, and very chaotic. But looking back, I am, as a business owner, super happy with how the summer went, and also as a mom, super happy with how the summer went. I hope this helps if you find yourself kind of thrown in the situation and you're trying to figure out what you want to do as far as running a business, raising kids. I hope this gives you some ideas on maybe some things that you can implement. And like I said before, my role and my involvement in the office has kind of ebbed and flowed based on the needs of the practice. And so just kind of having that fluid and flexible mindset, I think, is key as a dental wife. I want to give you guys a sneak peek into the Dental Wife crash course, which launches today. I created this course after spending 2 years as the wife of an associate dentist and the last 5 years as a practice owner. Looking back, I honestly wish I had something like this even while my husband was still in dental school. So, whether your husband's still in school, maybe he's working as an associate, or you've already purchased a practice, I made this course because it's everything that I wish someone would have handed me years ago. Now, I do work at our practice full time, but let me say this, there's no right or wrong level of involvement. Maybe you're there every day like me. Maybe you stop in once a week to do payroll and birthdays, or maybe you never work inside the practice at all. No matter what your role looks like, understanding how a dental practice works will help you be a better partner. You'll understand the language, you'll know how to have productive conversations about the business, recognize the key numbers that matter, support your spouse without stepping on anyone's toes, and most importantly, finding the role that feels right for you. Every video is under 12 minutes, and most of them are about 5 minutes long. You can listen while you're driving, folding laundry, cleaning the house, or just squeezing in a few minutes during the day. We've organized everything into easy to follow categories, including roles and responsibilities, leadership identity, financial literacy, HR and compliance, technology and systems, compensation and team culture, and work life integration. If you've ever wished someone would explain the business side of dentistry in a way that actually makes sense, or if you simply want to feel more confident supporting your spouse and your family's future, I would absolutely love to have you in my founding members group.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Dental Wife Life. If today's episode encouraged you, challenged you, or made you feel a little less alone, share it with another dental wife who needs it. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media so that we can keep the conversation going. You can find us on Instagram at The Dental Wife Life. Remember, your role matters, your voice matters, and you don't have to navigate this journey alone. We'll see you next time.